Hi guys, it's Arielle from Fix My Books, and today we're going to talk about income statements. So I'm making this video actually because I feel like there's a knowledge gap between, bookkeeping and the financial statements they produce and how business owners use and understand those financial statements. So today will be a brief overview of what an income statement is, what's it for, why is it important to understand it, whatever. So I just got some basic definitions from Investopedia, and we're going to work through these questions, and I'm going to show you some samples of income statements. So let's get started. Okay, so what is an income statement anyways? So an income statement is one of three important financial statements used for reporting a company's financial performance over a specific accounting period, with the other two key statements being the balance sheet and the statement of cash flow. So I just got this from Investopedia. So it says financial performance. Now, financial performance can be measured by different metrics, and that's why you have different financial statements. And it says over a specific accounting period, and I'll demonstrate this right now. So this is what a basic income statement looks like. And if you can see, it says December 2020. This is for the month of December. So when we say over a specific accounting period, it just means it could be monthly, quarterly, annually, or there are even daily income statements, which is basically like let's say a location of Starbucks, right? The daily sales for each location in a city. So that's important to them because that's how they measure the sales per location, right? Next, what are financial statements? So financial statements are written records that convey the business activities and the financial performance of a company. Again, the financial performance can be measured by different metrics, and what an income statement actually measures is the profitability of a company. So what is an income statement used for? An income statement is used to measure the profitability of a company. At the end of the day, it answers the question, how much money did the company make? And this is my definition, not Investopedia's. So that's what business owners want to know, right? How much money did they actually make at the end of the day? And why is an income statement important? An income statement provides valuable insights into a company's operations, the efficiency of its management, underperforming sectors, and its performance relative to industry peers. So underperforming sectors and industry peers, let's focus on that. So I'm going to show you an example of what it means underperforming sectors. So this is another basic income statement, but this time it's an income statement with two different streams of income. So let's say you started a graphic design business and then you started selling t-shirts with the designs that you made. So which one is more profitable, designing or selling the t-shirts? It's obviously selling t-shirts, right? So this is underperforming compared to this. So maybe you want to focus your energy on growing this part of the business instead of this part of the business, since this produces twice the sales of this, right? Or more than double the sales of this, right? So that's what I mean about underperforming sectors. Now, it says performance relative to industry peers. This is just because big companies, like publicly listed companies in the stock exchanges, they're required to publish their financial statements. So you can take one of their financial statements in your same industry. Let's say if you're a tech company, pretend like Twitter, compare how you're doing to Twitter or something like that. So you can measure how well you're doing with the same industry with your competitors, basically. So you see how you're doing. Okay, so how does an income statement relate to other financial statements? So the income statement is really the most basic financial statement, and it's the first thing you need to do in terms of a business. Because an income statement, the information here flows through the information here, flows through to the information here. So if the income statement is wrong, there's something wrong here. Everything else down the line is wrong because you have the incorrect information from the very beginning. So that's why it's important. So let me touch on what a statement of owner's equity is. So the statement of owner's equity is just basically a statement telling business owners like how much of the business they actually own. Because sometimes, you owe, let's say you owe people money or you owe banks money, and so they get to own a part of your business. You don't own it completely, or it could be like a liability, so you don't own that, right? The balance sheet. So again, this is the last income statement that you're going to prepare, and both of the information from these two flow into this. So a balance sheet basically shows the assets, liabilities, and the owner's equity in a company. So all the information from these two come to this one. Okay, so I'm going to show you now what an income statement looks like. So this is a basic profit and loss statement or income statement. So income statement can also be called profit and loss statement. So it shows you your sales and then it shows you your expenses. So let's say for this income statement, you have $10,000 of sales and then $3,000 of expenses. So your net profit is $7,000. So remember, this is net profit. There are two different kinds of profit, and we'll talk about that later. But when someone asks you what your net profit is or what your net is, it's this one. It's always the last line in an income statement. That would be your net. So expenses, advertising and marketing, right? Bank charges, insurance expense. You can actually call these expenses anything you like software. Instead of software subscriptions, you call it something else. It's the same thing. You can call the expenses anything you like. There are some expense accounts that don't change, like depreciation expense. It's always called the same thing. But if you want to call, let's say, advertising and marketing a different name, like promotions or whatever, that's totally fine. At the end of the day, the income statement will just show sales and expenses and the net profit. So with my clients, I actually like to design their income statements with them, meaning when I build a chart of accounts with a client, I like to use account names that they understand. So when they look at their income statement, they understand exactly what is happening or what is that. There are no questions into, what is this expense account, right? So that's why I really take the time to build an ideal profit and loss statement with my clients, since it is the most used financial statement, and I send these to my clients every month. So I want them to understand, what they're looking at. So again, sales, expenses, total expenses, and then net profit. So it's just $10,000 in sales minus $3,000 in expenses. So you get a net profit of $7,000. So this is what a service-based business's income statement will look like. So if you sell services, like again, graphic design, this is what your income statement would look like. Now, what if you sell products? How will it look like? It will look slightly different like this. So there's just an extra line here called cost of goods sold, but basically everything else is the same thing. So cost of goods sold is basically how much the material costs when you buy it. So again, with the graphic design t-shirt business, let's say you bought 2,000 pieces of t-shirts for $2,000, so it's $1 each. This is where you'll see that in your income statement. The cost of the t-shirts that you sold, not how much you sold them for, but how much you bought them for. This is where it's going to show up in your income statement. Now, again, a while ago, I touched on this. I mentioned that there are two different types of profit. So one is gross, and then one is net. So if you see the same thing, the net is the last line, even in a merchandising company. And merchandising just means product selling company. So in a merchandising company, it's still the same thing. The net profit is still the last line in the income statement. You just have an extra line that is cost of goods sold, and then you have this extra one saying gross profit, right? I told you a while ago, there are two different types of profit. One is gross, one is net. So when someone asks you what's your gross, this is what they're talking about. Basically, it's your sales minus the cost of those products, which is 8,000, right? 10,000 in sales minus 2,000 in cost of goods sold means 8,000 in gross profit. And if you see the net of this, the net profit is 5,000. Why? Because 8,000 minus 3,000 in expenses gives you a $5,000 net profit. But the net profit of this one is 7,000. Why? It's because there's a difference in 2,000 of cost of goods sold, which is considered an expense. You can see the difference between the two, 5,000 and 7,000, is the $2,000 in cost of goods sold. Now, again, with the profitability, you can see this. I gave this as an example a while ago. This is another part why an income statement is important, because you see different streams of income. So the more detailed your income statement is, the more data you can get from it and analyze it better. So this is a more complex question, but let's say graphic design services and then t-shirt printing services, right? Sales. But if there was a cost of goods sold here, then the t-shirt printing sales would be less, right? But I don't want to confuse you guys, but I just wanted to show you guys how you can actually use the data in income statements to make better business decisions. So once again, this is Ariel from Fix My Books. And then if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment them down below and I will definitely answer them. But I hope this gave you guys like a brief overview, an understanding of what income statements are, what financial statements are. And if you have any questions, again, just comment them down below. Thank you guys and have a great day.